Let's put a smile on that face.
Ready?
3,
3,
a 2,
2, a 1.
1.
How is everyone doing this fine Wednesday morning? If you hear that buzzing in the background, that's me using my my non-sponsored Hypervolt right here because
That's the one I wanted, by the way.
Yeah, your boy has had a pretty decent amount of days. Granted, I was messed up. The reason why we're recording on a Wednesday, by the way, is because your boy screwed up his back, seized his shoulder, and wasn't feeling it the last since Saturday to Monday. I went back to the last 2 days and try to fix that, and now
he's paying for it.
Yeah, I'm paying for it. But like people give me advice like, yo, if you want to fix your back and all that stuff, you start doing squats again. I'm like, all right, cool. So doing your squats, shoulders, all that stuff. But regardless, aside from that, how is everyone doing this fine Wednesday night? I am one of your hosts of the amazing PS Comics. I love you, JR Cabacungan, aka the Dark King, and to the left, right, bottom, top of me is of course the one, the only, my favorite co-host, my only co-host, but still my favorite one, the one, the only,
my precious. It's my beer.
We got beer, bro.
I'm Kevin Pillow, aka the voice of reason at voice of reason 23 on all social media platforms, including Snapchat if you're feeling froggy. I've been waiting for my boy for the last few days because I want to put a little tech flex on him. These came in last Friday. They are, everyone knows I am a lemming. I am a pure honk for the big A for Apple.
Nope.
And these bad boys came in on Friday. These are the AirPod Pros.
They are.
These are the AirPod Max. Sorry, I apologize. I have been using the AirPod Pros, which is the itty bitty things, which are phenomenal. But these things take it to a whole new level. I've been a Beats by Dre fan for many, many years, and by far and away, those Studio Beats are by far the best headphones I've ever had. These ones are closing in on second. But thought I'd give them a little test run here on the podcast. They're great for watching Netflix on my iPad, and actually been falling asleep with them on my head, watching them on my Apple TV and stuff like that. But this isn't a commercial for Apple, though we will be talking about Apple in just a little bit. So we're gonna get a little techie, okay? But we're gonna bring it full circle to pop culture. So there's gonna be some real hard news, tech, business, and pop culture all rolled into one coming up here in just a couple of moments. But if you want to get involved with the show, at PS Comics I Love You on Facebook and Instagram, PS Comics I Love You, the letter U there on Twitter. Trying to post a lot more stuff, trying to get some more stuff to interact with you, the fans. But nonetheless, let's dive right into it, my friend. And we will, by the way, if time permitted, we do have some flexibles. I've got a stack, a literal stack of books to my right from the last couple of weeks, from Asylum, from Desert Oasis, from Midtown. Just kind of been waiting to do a little flex pull on JR. So anyways, let's get right into the first news and notes. A bunch of Marvel news made its way out of the universe, ranging from the Avengers video game to the casting of a familiar face. Let's get right into the video games first. Avengers video game, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X. Google Stadia and Microsoft Windows released its new single-player event called Red Room Takeover over the last few days. Now, I have been back on the Marvel Avengers kick. You can head over to my Twitch account, True Voice of Reason 23 on Twitch. Been doing some streaming from the Shield headquarters here. Kind of getting back in the swing of things. I have not played since they added Clint Barton and Kate Bishop. I was disappointed to hear that they have now pushed the Black Panther release to the end of this year. So they are really going to try to milk this Avengers game, because by the time Black Panther comes out at the end of 2021, the game will have been out for over 18 months.
Yeah.
And that's usually when a game has more than exceeded its shelf life. Yeah. So kind of a curious move on that part. But I did not log in and hadn't seen the Red Room Takeover event. So, JR, I don't know if you've got a little bit more. I know you haven't played this game as much as I have, but maybe you've
Actually,
got a little bit more.
I haven't played it at all.
You haven't played
Actually,
it at all.
it's because like I was okay, so I'm just gonna go dive right into it. I know for a fact because the gamer in me, right, is this is a very much a pay for service type of game, where even though it's technically you get a full technical game at $60, right?
Yeah.
PS4, Xbox, the Xbox One from last generation, it really fits the theme of like, all right, cool. You get all this quote unquote filler stuff, right? Not really too, not really a big story, nothing too dramatic, right? And then you'll get these events and other stories outside of the main quest that trickle in every month or so, right? And so a
Yeah.
lot of the games been doing that over the last couple years now. Destiny 1 and 2 has been doing it. What else? Anthem, EA's Anthem has been doing it. So like it's very much a service up you play for service type of game where you get the game and then there's this expectation of more content after its initial story is done. And I've been definitely been one of those people who are like, all right, cool, if I want to buy this game, right, a play for service or whatever these games are, I would want to wait until the end of its life cycle where everything is already available type of thing.
Yeah, and it seems like it's kind of headed that way. I was so
Yeah.
surprised at how much content was free to play. I was prepared to actually have to pay for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the Hawkeye stuff,
Yeah.
but that was there when after I ran the update. So
That's the thing that it was what detracted me was the fact that the game came out right last year, 18, last year, and right off the bat, people have been saying that this is a 6-hour game, maybe less, maybe a little bit more, and then after that is bone dry.
yeah,
It's been bone dry for a long time until what the a couple events like small events happened, and then the Clint Barton Hawkeye stuff came on, and then there's supposed to be more trickled in there. And it's Marvel. It feels like to me, man, like the Marvel video game side is taking much of that, play for service type of game style, and that just does not attract me at all. That's the reason why I'm like, if I play this game, which I probably will, I'm waiting until it's like $20, 2 years, and all the content is there. Hopefully, but just seeing the stuff, man, it looks pretty cool. It features that one room that just reminds me very much of like the X-Men room in like all of its games and all of its content were like the training room, the X training room. It just
yeah.
reminds me of that.
The harm room is what you're talking about,
Yeah.
and I do enjoy that because it's a little bit more free for all. And I can't think of off the top of my head what they call the training room in the X-Men universe.
Forgot to.
It was
on my tongue.
it was very much made famous in the original cartoon. I think they may have referenced
Room.
it in
Danger Room.
the Danger Room. Okay, so the Danger Room was in the original animated series. It also was referenced in, I believe, either X2 or X-Men Last Stand.
I think so, yeah.
And that was, of course, the first time that we saw a Sentinel
Yep.
in the X-Men universe. Oh, Siri, I'm not talking to you.
Actually, if I remember correctly, it was in the original X-Men 2, X2 United, I think. X2, whatever. And it did show a very young, it was in the very beginning of the movie where it showed a very young Hugh Jackman, and as he took down a Sentinel head.
That's what it was an X2.
Yeah.
X-Men United, and then it was slightly referenced at the end of I want to say X-Men Apocalypse, with when they debuted the new costumes, the red and blue and the more traditional costumes. They were in kind of the Danger Room where Mystique was leading the X-Men, but that's kind of where the series kind of fell off. But
wait. Sorry, small tangent. Every time I think of every freaking time I think of Apocalypse, right? I just think of what's one of the main characters' name who played the guy who played Magneto?
Michael Fassbender.
I just always think of Fassbender in the woods, right? I don't know why people didn't make a meme of this, right? Where he killed all the guards for them killing his daughter and wife, right?
Yeah.
He looks to the sky. Is this what you want from me? He looks up to God. Is this all I am? And like it was the most dramatic thing, right? And like for me in my memeified head, I'm thinking like, if I stub my toe, right? If I stub my toe, is this what you want from me? This is all I am. I'm like, I don't understand why, but that specific scene always pops in my head every time I think of Apocalypse. But please continue.
Nonetheless, yeah. So as Jared put in the notes here, the game does feature he says VMarvel.com players must uncover encrypted messages addressed to Black Widow from an old friend, Yelena Belova, which obviously we're going to see make her debut in Marvel's Black Widow, Marvel's Black Widow in July. So yeah, it looks like it takes a lot of place in the armor room, which is a lot of fun and stuff like that. The game, the event runs till May 31st of this year. Check it out on the Avengers video game. I may have to check it out later this weekend. I know I've got till Monday to play it. But I know that JR is stoked about this.
Yeah,
this is huge. And I'm gonna let you take it because I gotta step away just for a second.
Yeah,
we have a new character coming to the Sony Marvel universe, and it's I don't know much about this character. I want to say it's a villain. Some people say it's an anti-hero. Who knows? JR, tell us about Craven the Manhunter.
Hunter. So yeah,
or the Hunter, Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, he's a very long-standing enemy archetype of Spidey's rogues gallery type of enemies, and so he is actually the film the Craven the Hunter is gonna be a solo film that's going to be released in 2023, and they finally found its lead. Yes, the Avengers Age of Ultron star Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yes, that Quicksilver, the quote unquote the original brother, has been casted to play the ultimate hunter himself, Craven the Hunter. And so Craven the Hunter was originally made by Ditko and Stan Lee back in I forget exactly what I'm trying to go off the top of this, try to flex my nerd my nerd history, but I totally forgot when exactly he was made. But yeah, the original Craven the Hunter is an original OG Rose Gallery villain of the eponymous Spider-Man, our neighborhood friendly Spider-Man, and he has been casted, and they are going to be directing, or they're going to be starting initial filming sometime in 2022. Now, of course, it's going to be directed by J.C. Chandler, and hopefully it's gonna fall in this realm of Sony standalone movie films of the Spider-Man universe, without Spider-Man himself, though, where it's gonna feature a lot of the rogues gallery or the hero, villain / anti-heroes of that franchise. So this is another one. This is just another character in a hopefully, if their ducks are in a row and they get this right, hopefully it's gonna be a decent payoff specifically for this Spidey verse type of
We'll see how it plays out
Mhm.
with Morbius and with Venom and whatnot. So Craven the Hunter, first appearance in Amazing Spider-Man number 15, August of 1964. As JR put it, created by the legendary Steve Lee, the legendary Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, of course, who were the two pretty much the godfathers of Spider-Man and everything that has to go with it. So I'm okay with this. It'll be interesting to see if they do end up merging the two universes, that somehow they address the Sony verse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I will say the crazy thing about this particular story is that I think it's a conjunction where even though before Marvel has had its hand in a lot of other movies that are not made from them, right? Because you have to go through Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige will try to do the whole gamut of what is historically correct in the context of Marvel Comics. But from what I'm hearing and from what I'm reading is that this was an originally planned thing back when Homecoming was done, the original Spider-Man Homecoming. The second that Homecoming wrapped, this was in the works back in.
Yeah, they've been talking about Craven for a long time,
very long time, and from what I'm reading, that this is supposed to be a joint venture for both Marvel and Sony. Now, I don't know if that is in the same light with like what they're doing in Morpheus, but to me, it feels like I'm hoping this is it feels like It's a very more controlled aspect of like, all right, we might need to get this right, specifically with Craven, because yeah, Kraven the Hunter is definitely like he can definitely branch out.
Yeah,
He's not just solely a Spider-Man rogue gallery villain or anti whatever specifically, because you can put him in, let's say, a Blade. You can put him in, let's say, Morbius. You could definitely put him in a Venom. You could definitely put him with the Punisher. And so this is very much a character that can, for me, definitely cross, be used cross platform, cross series type of s. And I'm hoping that's what we're getting, because it'd be amazing to see somehow, some way, this Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven somehow meet with Wanda.
that would be
That would be
interesting.
interesting.
That'd be very interesting. So yeah, this is a movie that they've been trying to make, a character
Mhm.
they've been wanting to tackle, someone they've been wanting to introduce, because it is sort of a unique character. Like JR said,
Mhm.
it is kind of more of an anti-hero, maybe I guess traditionally a villain, but
Yeah,
can
traditionally.
be a bit of both.
Yeah,
So
he's
we'll see how that goes. And like JR said, also it is scheduled to be released on January 13th, 2023,
mhm.
directed by JC Chandler. Other information that came out this past week, Loki released another trailer as it inches
Mhm.
ever so closer as we record this on a Wednesday, May 26th. We are just about 2 weeks away from the debut of Loki, and Marvel
Sure.
is in full
Mhm.
marketing mode for this show. I mean, magazine covers, you know, TV interviews, Good Morning America, web stuff, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. So they're in full tilt marketing mode for Loki. I honestly think that, from when I took a mass communications class in college, they said that the more a show needs to be marketed, if a movie or a product's marketing budget somehow outweighs the production budget, then you've got a shit show. And I know that they have really ramped up the marketing over the last two shows. Now, WandaVision didn't get a lot of marketing behind it. It got
Okay.
some, but not a lot. Then it dialed it up a little bit with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And now
Mhm.
with Loki, they're going full tilt. I honestly think that it's not that they have, I think they've got another hit. I think Loki looks phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
another show that they're going to think outside the box, dealing
Oh
with
yeah.
time travel. Um, I just think that they need to draw more attention to the platform, draw attention to the character.
Mm.
Why this character? Why should we care? Why is Loki around? We saw Loki die in Infinity War. Yeah, we saw the 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 variant in Endgame. So what does this mean?
Mm.
So I think it's going to be interesting because between the Loki that we know, think about this. The Loki that's going to be in this show
Yeah.
is from 2012.
Yeah.
It is from Avengers. Think about everything that's happened since this version of Loki has come to us. Dark World. He takes the throne of Asgard. He he has the situation on
Yeah.
Stakar with the collector and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, not even that too. If you go back to Dark World, actually, one of the most pivotal moments when people say specifically about that movie is that it wasn't a Thor movie; it was a Loki movie
oh,
first,
absolutely, yeah,
because definitely of the arc of Loki. And granted, that's where you will get a lot of fans, right? Specifically our younger audiences. And so I feel like this thing's gonna do really well. And not only that, but to back to your point, where like this is this Loki from 2012. How is then this Loki going to understand and going to handle it, the fact that you're gonna lose your mother? That's inevitability. Your mother
yeah.
dies Thor 2, supposedly. And I'm wondering if then, just a small little theories, if Loki sees this time stream where he sees the full grasp of like, all right, cool. His brother's his brother now again, and they're supposed to be, this two-headed uh king s ship of like of like how they're going to help their people that are literally on the brink of extinction. And I'm hoping that they are going to delve into that with the Loki series. Granted, if it's all about him just jumping through time streams and trying to fix stuff, I'm fine with that too. But I would love to see this continued storyline with a different Loki, in the sense of like, this isn't our Loki that we all know. So I'm hoping that's the case. But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Loki hits Disney Plus on June 9th. That's 2 weeks from as we record today. Also, before we get to the big Marvel news, I want to sneak in here real quick as I'm scrolling through these news sites. I just stumbled upon this as we right before we record. The rich keep getting richer. The shows keep getting better. Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion adds another blockbuster name to its cast. Christopher McDonald. You're going, Kevin, you promised me a blockbuster name. Who the freak is Christopher McDonald? Come on, bro. You know who he is. Hold on. Shooter McGavin. That's right. From the Happy Gilmore movies. Or from Happy Gilmore movies. Happy Gilmore movie.
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin is set to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe in an original character that will be a pivotal role across multiple multiple franchises, basically, for lack of a better term. The article that I read here says, according to Deadline Hollywood, Chris McDonald from Happy Gilmore, Ballers, and The Good Wife has joined the cast of Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion in a role that sounds like it could have a future with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. According to the report, he plays a newly created character for the series and is believed he could ultimately cross over into the films and other Disney Plus shows. So this sounds kind of like a little bit of like maybe Nick Fury, Agent Coulson kind of deal. McDonald joins the likes of Samuel L. Jackson. Of course, you know him from across the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Nick Fury. Multiple Emmy Award winner Ben Mendelsohn of Bloodline and Captain Marvel as Talos. He'll return to Talos. Four-time Primetime Emmy Award nominee Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Solo, as well as Terminator Genisys, will join the cast, as well as Olivia Colman, Kingsley Ben Adir, and Killian Scott. All have been named as cast members for Secret Invasion, amongst, I would imagine, any other character that either is just going to appear or be scrolled. Who's going to be manipulated by the scrolls? So we'll have to wait and see. There is no date yet for, let's see. We also have Kyle Bradstreet of Mr. Robot, Copper, and Borgia is serving as the head writer on the project with Thomas. Hold on real quick. Thomas Bachua from Let Him Go and Monte Carlo, and Ali Salim of Sweetland and Looming Tower set to co-direct the show, and it is set for a mid to late 2022 debut for Disney Plus. So, and it's also set to be a 1 hour, 6 episode miniseries. Secret Invasion coming to Disney Plus with a all-star cast very, very soon. But JR, that is not the only thing coming from the Marvel Cinematic Universe this past week. We got to see a huge, fantastic teaser trailer for one of the biggest, kind of most anticipated films of 2021, and that is the first teaser trailer of the Eternals.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did, man. And I gotta say, damn, it looks good.
Yeah,
I gotta say, damn, it looks good. It's very, even though we've had 10 years now or 11 plus years now of Marvel, it looks very distinctly different stylistically. And this is even with with heavyweights like Taika and the Russos, right? And even with the aforementioned Thor Dark World too, and they had some great locales in that place too, just stylistically as well as just all these pans. It's like a more distinct, less less sparkly glow view J.J. Abrams for me. I gotta say. And it looks really good. I
Yeah.
gotta give props. Like just cinematography wise, it looks really good. And I'm kind of biting my lip now. I'm probably eating that crow of like, all right, director. Okay, then she knows her stuff. And like she definitely really in charge of knowing what to do. And the biggest thing for me is how does she handle this huge ass cast? You know?
This is no indie set. This is not the little movie that she did called No Man
That
Land,
one, no matter that one freaking Emmy.
the Academy Award, where it had
Like,
two big
crazy.
characters. I mean, right off the bat, this is a cast that has Angelina Jolie and Selma Hayek. Okay, right there, done. You have ego and drama and diva-esque personalities. Okay. Then you add the stunningly beautiful, stunningly talented, incomparable Gemma Chan, who I absolutely love. And then on top of that, you're adding Rob Stark and Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Of course, is was it Richard Madden and
It's Richard Madden and I'm trying
Kit
to think of his
Harington.
name.
Kit Harington. But it was so funny. We were watching the trailer. My wife was like, I was telling her, you keep it a close eye. You're going to recognize someone in this video. And I'd already seen it, and I'm thinking she's going to see Black Knight. She's going to see Jon Snow, Kit Harington. And she goes, oh, and I go, what? Because it hadn't happened yet. And she's like, oh my gosh, Rob Stark's in this. And I'm like, oh crap, that's right. That's Rob Stark is Icarus. It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks fun. Like Jared said, the cinematography is gorgeous. I hope it doesn't get too bogged down by special effects. I hope that it allows this potential award-winning story to breathe. A lot of people are wondering if with how much detail are they going to go into with the Eternals? How much detail are they going to go into the Celestials? How much detail are they going to go into the Deviants? Are they going to address what Thanos did? Period. Are they going to address what Thanos's connection to Celestials and the Eternals? That's the big storyline. There's no reference to it, and I think that maybe they'll just reference it in passing, and he won't make an appearance, because this movie looks really clean and I mean, it has special effects, but it's almost like they only used them in like they didn't overdo it. That's what I was looking for. They didn't overdo it with the special effects.
I feel though that like we might get into that territory specifically because a lot of the powers derived from their power. A lot of their powers, right, like sword making, healing, and all that stuff, right, is really gonna be bogged. Might be just filled with special effects because that's a given, right?
Like, that's a given, yeah.
That's a given. But one, I forgot his name, Icarus, right? He's gonna have, he's gonna be the quote unquote Superman of the group where he can fly and he have eye lasers and he has super strength, right? And of course, it's gonna be Richard Madden. And I'm just hoping we have a coherent story.
Yeah.
The cinematography looks freaking top notch. I'm hoping that since we got Selma Hayek and Angelina Jolie when they're older and they're definitely in a different time of their lives, we're like, all right, cool.
Neither one of them age. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're still beautiful regardless. So, but that's just a side effect. There's more so like because like if this was 20 years ago and Angelina Jolie 15, let's say even 15 years ago, Angelina Jolie, she's already half the budget.
Oh, absolutely.
So like now they're at the time like, all right, cool. Let's look at, maybe she's gonna do some acting. So, it's crazy to think that superheroes now can be if you play a superhero for a movie, you could be if you do it seriously, you could be looked upon as possibly an Academy nomination, right? And so I'm hoping I'm hoping Angelina Jolie is in that like, all right, cool. We're going to be, even though they're technically leaders, we're going to be in this role of like, it's a new age. It's definitely for the ones coming up, even though Richard Madden is about 34, 35, and Kit Harington is about I think he's in the 30s now as well. But like all these young stars, and of course Gemma Chan, she's of age. She's older. I'll say that much. I'm not gonna say her age out loud, but like yeah, I'm hoping that the two seen as stars of days past can really help influence this movie in a very, very, very positive light. So other than that, man, like just having those two names, Selma freaking Hayek and Angelina Jolie, even though we got Kit Harington, we got Richard Madden, like as much as I love Game of Thrones and Kit Harington, it's Angelina Jolie. It's Angelina. Like it's Angelina. Period, bro. So
that's all that needs to be said. The Eternals, you can check out the trailer. It's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/PS Comics. I love you. Like Jared said, features Gemma Chan, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani.
He's freaking awesome. I can't wait for him, dude.
Leah McHugh, Brian Tyree Henry, Lauren Riddoff, Barry Keoghan, Don Lee, Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, and of course Harrington releases in November.
Yep.
And it looks like I said, and of course it is directed by the reigning best director for the Academy Award, and that is I can't. What's it, Gar?
Her name too, actually.
I completely forgot.
I totally forgot to put on there.
And yes, I know I'm freezing my hand right now. For these wondering what the hell is Kevin got on his hand there,
Chloe Zhao.
Chloe Zhao. There you go.
And I'm gonna do a quick break real quick. So I'm gonna have you do the next bit of news, my friend, because a huge drop freaking bomb came out just recently. So then if you take the news real quick, I actually have to I gotta leave just for a brief second.
Not a problem, and I will take this now. I should note this that for those who don't know, PS Comics I Love You is produced by a company that I started called Carefree Broadcasting. Of course, it's co-hosted by yours truly and JR. But I also co-host or co-produce other media platforms within the Carefree Broadcasting family, and one of them is called Talking Tech, and we kind of stay on top of the tech business world. And it was a busy week. There's a lot going on, obviously, with Apple. They've got a huge developers conference going on next week, whatnot. But a lot of news broke about technology this past week. And more specifically, a lot of mergers going down. Now, I tell this story to tell the big story that JR has down on the news and notes. I think the story came out late last week, or maybe even before that AT&T was going to merge with Discovery. Now, Discovery, of course, owns the Discovery Channel, A&E, Animal Planet, the Home and Garden, DIY, the DIY network, stuff like that. That conglomerate of television programs. AT&T owns DirecTV, DC Comics, Warner Brothers, so on and so forth. And CNN. It's been said for almost about a year now that AT&T has been wanting to dump some of its assets, most specifically CNN. Not going to get too political about it, but in regards to the goings on geopolitically the last 12 months, CNN is not the name commercially what it used to be. So AT&T was looking to dump it. So what they did was they found a partner, and they spun off the Warner Media brand, which is going to include the WB Warner Brothers Studio and all of its movies and TV shows, including the DC universe and DC Comics and whatnot. So the Warner Media platform and HBO, by the way, HBO Max and whatnot, they're going to spin it off and merge with Discovery and its brand of content and create a multimedia conglomerate known as Warner Media Discovery. That is expected to get regulatory approval sometime this year and launch in early to mid 2022. A huge platform that would include, like I said, HBO, which of course includes all the Warner Brothers backlog, and now possibly all the Discovery stuff. Now I tell that story because now here's this new company, Warner Media Discovery, sitting out there all alone on the island of misfit toys, shucked off by AT&T. So remember that over there. It's over there. For the last 6 months or 6 months plus, we've been talking about that the last big studio out there, MGM, is looking to sell its assets, looking to sell its content, looking to pass along its IP that they have in their vault, so to speak. And no, didn't have to look too much for the. And JR and I talked about this, that the hit list of people that were going to buy into MGM were either going to be Apple, Disney, or Amazon. And I figured Apple and Amazon were going to be the forefronts. Disney was not in, and they're not in the buying mode, though. The story came out today that Bob Iger was interested in buying Warner Media back in 2016 prior to their merger with AT&T. So again, this is all going on this past week, right? Yeah. It also should be noted that, I mean, to almost to the nth degree, I mean, almost to the very end, Apple was also in negotiations with Time Warner back in 2015 prior to their dealings with AT&T. So a lot of people were vying for that coveted Warner Brothers vault. I think they were looking for Wacko, Yakko, and Dot. But nonetheless, moving right along, Amazon has emerged as the sole proprietor, the breadwinner, so to speak, of the MGM Lottery, and at a whopping, astounding, astronomical $8.5 billion. Wah, 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 wah. In comparison, by the way, Disney's purchase of 20th Century Fox a few years ago cost them nearly $70 billion.
Yeah.
Warner Media's spinoff and merger with Discovery Plus, with Discovery, that's going to take place over the next few months, $43 billion. MGM, one of the oldest studios in Hollywood, Wizard of Oz, James Bond, Rambo, just to name a few, $8.5 billion. JR, you and I have that in our freaking couch cushions. Jeff Bezos.
I wish I did.
Jeff Bezos said, do you want to take cash or do you just want to put it on my American Express Black Card? $8.5 billion for Jeff Bezos is a laugh. I cannot believe the studio that brings you James Bond sold for $8.5 billion.
He'll make that back. He'll make that back the second that they. And
he made it back already.
Probably did. Yeah, just
I'm
from the people.
You, it was a cash deal. I was talking to my dad. That's a cash deal. Jeff Bezos goes, you go, there's no stock options. There's no, we'll pay you part of it today and the other part. No, he paid cash. He went down to Wells Fargo. He pulled out, a quick cash withdrawal, put his little ATM card in there and said, okay, 8530000000000, and walked over to MGM and talked to Kevin Ulrich and said, ching, you take cash. I mean, I couldn't believe my eyes, my ears. I could not believe what I was reading at $8.5 billion. That's a joke.
Well,
but
Here's the
like
thing,
JR
man.
said, they've already made the money back and they haven't even
Yeah.
finalized the deal yet. So.
It's not even that. It's just more so like when we look at the other mergers specifically, like with Disney, even with Marvel, right? When they adopted Marvel, and that was like what, like I was like 2020, no 2000,
2000, that was about 2011 because it
2011.
was prior to the launch of
Yeah,
Marvel's Avengers. Marvel's Avengers came out in 2012,
yeah.
which was
And like
Paramount at the time. But
yeah, which sold for like what, a couple billion as well, right? But that's the entirety of it.
and again, inflation, stuff like that.
Yeah,
You take into consideration Lucasfilm, which was a small studio, sold
yeah,
for $2 billion to
yeah,
Disney.
yeah.
Uh, and Marvel Entertainment, which included Marvel Studios, sold for 1.5 billion. Could you imagine today
That's what I'm saying.
If Marvel Studios
Yeah,
had stayed independent
mm,
for 10 plus years,
it wouldn't have happened.
there's no way that thing doesn't go for less than 20.
Yeah.
The
Well,
the
yeah,
yeah.
I will still say though, like like I see that specific behavior, MGM Studios, right? And granted, yes, has a lot of these very golden age and very epitomous like movie series. It's still very much in the spectrum of like just one thing. It's still movies, and when you compare it to the yesteryears of, yes, Marvel Studios and Lucasfilms, it's still in that vein. Like, yes, you know, MGM was seen as a higher, it still kind of is in the sense of like just history. When you put it against Marvel and Lucasfilms, right? Just heritage, right? Who was more seriously seen as a movie theater, as a studio theater, right? Granted, now is a much harder case to make now, but specifically when you talk about, when you're talking about like historically, it's MGM. And I feel like if they went any higher than 8 billion, I feel like they would have got gypped, because specifically it's just only these movies. Granted, yes, you have a billion maker in James Bond. You have a couple of other like grandfathered in series and things that are still going on today. Well, we'll get you residual, and you have the name, the recognition of the lion. Like it's not it's not I feel like they're not gonna have they don't have an Avengers in the pipeline. I feel like they don't have like a long standing series other than James Bond, like Star Wars franchises, right? Where you can branch off. You can't like, it's for me, I don't know if they can or are willing to branch off more double O movies, right, with other agents and everything else, right? Because that's gonna be a little bit harder sell. Granted, now it might happen because it's Amazon and they can do some stuff outside of it. They could probably go more, probably go more rated R type of stuff. But like for me, honestly, if they want a higher than 8, I feel like it probably pay way too much for it, because specifically it's just a movie studio and
Yes.
it's one of the most prestigious movie studios, yes. But when in comparison to everything else that both Warner Brothers been bought
Yeah.
and freaking everything else been bought, like, yeah, like they spent 40 million, Disney spent 40 or some billion, because not just to get freaking Fox. They got the other networks to be played in different freaking countries, right?
Yeah, that was the big deal they talked
Yeah.
about. But what actually ended up happening too was I found out that actually one of the studios that they wanted,
Yeah.
they didn't end up getting. They lost
Mm.
to AT&T, I think. But anyways, the
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
The other thing too, it should be noted that with this Warner Media Discovery merger that goes on over the next few years,
Yeah.
that it will be a separate company. It will no longer be a company ran by AT&T. There will be a brand new CEO put in charge of Warner Media Discovery, and it is talked that no sooner does this new company set up shop that Tim Cook and Apple will probably swoop in and buy
Hmm.
Warner Media Discovery.
Wow.
So it should be that should be something to
Yeah.
take into consideration. We'll definitely keep a close eye on this, because again, the streaming wars are very much heating up. We are living in, to put it in comic book terms, people say the golden age of television was the late 90s, early 2000s, with stuff like Deadwood and what's it called? The Sopranos and Sex and the City and Entourage and so on and so forth, and of course leading into Breaking Bad and then the advent of cable drama. And I think now, I guess, put it in comic terms, we're probably in the silver age of television with streaming and whatnot. But it should be interesting to keep an eye on. Also, it should be noted that real quick before we move on to JR's big topic, because I know he's been chomping at the bit to talk about one of his man crush Mondays. Speaking of Apple, their court case with Epic Games has concluded. There has been no verdict yet or decision issued by the judge in that case. Of course, for those of you who don't know, Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, Apple dismissed and removed Fortnite and all Epic games from their App Store last year. Reason being was because Epic Games was trying to skirt a guideline that Apple had issued for using in-app purchases and whatnot. And so Epic Games basically said, F you, come over here and tell me to my face what you want me to do. And Apple said, okay, and kicked them off the App Store. And they've suffered financially. And Epic took Apple to court and said, this violates antitrust laws, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling you right now, I am telling you right now, if Apple has to pay any kind of financial damages to Epic Games, say it's $20 million or whatever it is, they will turn around and double it and say, just give us the damn company. Apple will own Epic Games. It's not going to end well. You don't, and everyone wants to say that Apple's the big bully. I really don't think they are. I think that they are I think they're the nerd on campus, and Epic Games is I think not even a bully. I think they're more of the jock that's used to getting their way, and they're and cheating and saying, okay, well, I know the rules over here say this, but I'm going to do that and see if I can get away with it. What Epic Games did was flat out break the rules, and they paid for it. They called Apple's bluff, and Apple said, bye-bye. And you know who, and you know what's, well, when not just Apple does it, I mean, Google kicked them off too, because they were tired. Epic, here's the rules. Epic Games, here are the rules to have your game on our platform. Do you agree to it? Yes. Sign on the dotted line. As soon as they launched their game, they broke every single rule. Okay, well, and then goes, what? Do something. What are you going to do about it?
Well, here's the thing about here's my point of contention of this, right? And when you bring up Google, you're talking about Google Stadia specifically, right? The game platform is the game is Fortnite. The Fortnite has been a $1 billion seller game for the entirety of its lifetime, and two, just one. Couple questions specifically for who the hell is playing Fortnite on an Apple anything?
Quite a bit of people.
Quite a bit of people, sure, but not in comparison to his actual player base on Xbox, on PS, even the Sony consoles, even on just one, it's still played enormously on PC specifically.
Oh, absolutely. It's a console game. Yeah.
It's a game specifically. And the reason why they put in contention is that Stadia and Google and Google and iMac, whatever, right? Apple Store, right?
Apple Arcade, yeah.
Apple Arcade. These are the only two companies out of every other single like major game like publishing company. I'm talking about like one Microsoft Windows. I'm talking about PlayStation Store, Xbox Store. I'm talking about like even the biggest one of like of the guys who made, I forgot, like it's the big one where all the PC games you basically buy from, right?
Yeah, I can't think it was called either. Steam,
right? Specifically, there are more rules in place, and I understand the fact that you break our rules. Well, your rules are stupid to begin with because one, you're not following the actual standard of of games or of game design or just one publishing games on a platform where one people don't freaking use your people don't see Apple as a solidified, comprehensive
Well,
hardcore gaming machine
and
specifically.
that was the thing was too was that the game it never made it to Apple Arcade, and I don't
Yeah.
think I'm not 100% sure if Fortnite ever made it to Stadia either.
Yeah.
The app itself, because you download the actual
No, you
Fortnite app
yeah, you don't
off
because
of the
here's
App Store.
yeah, you don't because here's the thing. Apple and Google, they're not gaming, they're not game
They're
machines.
oh, I know they're not,
They're not.
but they
They're
want to be.
so they're no, I put a definite cap on that. One, Google Stadia specifically is fucking dying and in the garbage, and people have lit that fire too. And two, show me anything made from Apple that is a genuine video game, and that is not your typical like on your phone type bullshit. And people are gonna say that mobile gaming now is now a thing. I understand that, but the main reason why people are quote unquote using we're quote unquote going to play my freaking I just said it, Fortnite, right?
Fortnite.
It's because it's going to be on their phones, right? And yes, a lot of iPhones now can be considered much stronger tech than your old consoles, right? But like that's that might be an untapped market, sure, but you're not gonna like come on, let's not beat around the bush here. People
No,
are gonna
and they're
play on
not a
consoles.
game. They're not a game
They're
developer.
not.
Apple's not a game developer.
Absolutely not.
Apple wants to create a platform more sustainable for game specific developers. They want to create, they have Apple Arcade, and right now Apple
Ah,
Arcade, all it
bro,
does is they have games
bro,
like, Flappy Wing and stuff like that. They have a few cool games.
bro.
I know actually your boys,
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy, they're doing a complete remake of one of the, I think it's like Final Fantasy 7, and are putting it on Apple Arcade. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's phenomenal. I get it. I got my PlayStation 4 right here. You got your PS5 right
Bro,
there. Those
it's
are
not.
what hardcore gamers are going to go. And
It's
even
not
then,
even
hardcore
that,
gamers
bro.
are going to go PCs.
Well, yeah, it's not even that. It's more so the fact that the way that the people are looking at Google or freaking Apple in the sense of like, oh, but that's game design. There's a thing. Is the same way considering the fact that they like for me the differences between this. I'm going to sports, right? The difference between the Canadian Football League and the American Football League. They're
Oh, I
similar.
get it.
It's just more so the fact that too, you're putting a lot more restraints on you're putting a lot more restraints on game design when it's already across the board, already for in their case seen as like less user friendly and two against consumer. That was the biggest attribute. Like you're against consumers because specifically you are then trying to alienate a bunch of people because the biggest thing for Fortnite is that it's multi-platform. It's multi you can play across platforms. And if you then try to if then people are trying to then go to your place and the restriction they were trying to place is that people on Apple playing from an Apple device are being heavily restricted than those who aren't playing on Apple devices. That was the biggest thing, and I remember the story because it was out now for since like what 2018 or 2019, and yeah, this everybody in the gaming sphere, everything from journalists to like people looking in like, no, this is shitty because Apple is doing this whole big bully. I'm gonna wave my dick around and try to if they buy Epic Games and that's now costed to be in the billions, hey, they'll buy them, sure. But like, all right, cool. Then what then? They're gonna be like just fluff because then they're gonna want them to make games on their platform, or that's already gonna be restrictive in a sense because there's nothing to fucking play it on. And two, Epic Games then because of that, like many developers before them are gonna just leave the company and it's gonna be husk of its former self. That was the main issue. What I had specifically with Apple is because like, yo, when they did that Fortnite thing where it was the old school a 1984 thing where 1984
Yeah, 1984 where he throws the
ST
hammer through the screen.
do the hammer screen, but like it's the Fortnite version of it. Like that's definitely it. That is definitely it. And Grant, not to roast you, my guy. But I'm like, it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I just
yeah,
Fortnite just they're because they did it to multiple platforms. They did it to the Google Play store. They did it to other, and again, it's not their video game platform. Like I said, Google has Stadia, Apple has Apple Arcade. It's the actual app. The Fortnite app was the first one that was pulled because they specifically said that when it comes to, it had to do with in-app purchases, and it had to do with something else. So if you were to launch the Fortnite app on your iPhone, for example, and you wanted to buy a skin or something like that, it would launch out of the game and go to a web browser. You would buy it there, link your account, reopen the game, and it would be there. And the reason they did it that way was to skirt Apple's percentage of take on in-app purchases, which was I believe 60-40, which again, but think about it, 60-40 on $1 billion franchise.
It's still 60-40, and you're still getting screwed because one, a lot of, again, I'm saying this from the aspect of like developers, right? If every standard across the if you are getting right state standard or company standard, right? Everyone else was 80-20, 80-20, 80-20, 80-20, right? Regardless of where you're from. And then the next developer says, "Oh, well, I have this phone that can give you a billion possible buyers, possible, not solidified, but possible." But then, it's gonna be 60-40, 60-40.
And right now,
no way.
And you know what the problem is where Epic Games no longer has a leg to stand on. Just announced today that the number one American seller for mobile phones is Apple. Now you're thinking, well, that's been for years. No, it hasn't. The long-standing American hardware provider for cell phones has been Samsung, because they have multiple different phones. They have, Samsung could make 6 phones a year. Apple makes 3 at the most. But Apple has overtaken Samsung as the number one provider for phones. And of course,
again, we can keep on going on, on about this, but specifically, just one, the biggest thing, the biggest point of contention of this as well is that they still need to fix the fact that they still need to fix around this freaking horrible fact that there's the mobile gaming space specifically isn't as well versed or isn't as developed as it should be, because again, you like if a full-on Fortnite game, right, is $20, right, or whatever it's going to be, technically free. It was supposed to be free to play, right? But then the same game, Flappy Bird, whatever, right, the next big selling game on the iStore was about $20 as well, but it's not as developed, it's not as
cool.
Or unique point. It's not just cool, but like develop wise, like it's literally a lot. My biggest point of contention for just a lot of mobile games is that it's shit development. They put so much small things in. They put so much small stuff in just for quick turnaround. And I get that. That's the reason why they do 60-40. But when you have a game and the game maker that put in literal hundreds of millions, right? Just for another company to say, all right, cool. Well, I know you guys have been popular for the last 3-4 years, but we're gonna still say 60-40. But then you got big names like Travis Scott and other big name people, celebrities on your platform. Like, dude, no.
And it turns around too is like, and I know it's easy to say, we would have negotiated with you, like Apple, said. And they were working with other developers, but it was like, to me, the problem I have with Epic, if you're getting screwed, if you feel, it's just like anything else in business. Okay, I've been working a job since I was 19, and if I felt I was getting hosed financially, I would go to my boss and say, "Listen," and I'm not one of those guys like, "Pay me, bitch." Like, I deserve this. No one deserves shit. Sorry, that's the way I feel. If you feel you deserve something, then go make something of yourself. That's one of the reasons why, JR and I are doing this podcast, is because we feel that, we have a voice that needs to be heard. I, especially specifically, who has been pursuing a radio career since 2003, my voice was being silenced. So, you know what? I take the entrepreneurial spirit, partnered up with JR and said, hey, let's go kick the door in and let's let our voice be heard. Now, that could be the same said for everyday business. I've been working in and out of retail since 1999, and I never once went, pay me, bitch, because I had no leg to stand on. I'm a clerk, I'm a cart pusher, I'm a box collector. I do this, I do that. I don't have all the, I don't have any of the power. When I'm in radio, I have, it was different. I had a little bit more power. I had some clout and stuff like that.
Okay.
But when I feel that when I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, or I've left something on the table, I, in a business sense, go and I make sure I have all my ducks in a row. Okay, what have I done? For example, a couple of years ago, my sales at my day job went through the roof, and I sat down with my boss and said, hey, I've really turned it around this year. And I told us, is there anything that I can do to improve myself? Oh, you're doing great. I said, okay, with that said, I'm making this much right now. I was making this much, selling this much. Now I'm selling this. If I can consistently sell this much continuously, can you pay me this much? And we came down to an agreement. Boom. Bob's your uncle, moved along. I'm making more money. I've worked around so many people that have, it's not fair. I should be paid more. No, you don't, it doesn't work that way. And the way Epic Games, and I get it. I look at the structure. If I was an app developer, I'd go like, what the fuck? No, I want more money. It's my game.
Here's the thing. Would you say the exact same thing if you were Robert Downey Jr.? And I have a point to this. If you're Chris Evans, if you were Chris Hemsworth, would you say the exact same thing? Would you take anything less? Because this is the point I'm trying to make. Epic Games, not just your regular studio. They are a pedigree studio, and specifically in the gaming space, right? Agreed. And so when you were a developer, 20 years in the business, just as long as Apple, just as long, and your own tech, quote unquote, niche area, specifically in electronics, right, where you've been building games, where you know your standard of play, and you've had the exact same relationship, 80-20, through all these platforms within the gaming space. And then now Apple, a big name, yes. Google, big name, yes. They were just over the last 5 years come into your space and try to establish their own terms of how they view the gaming space. That's just a bad precedent, my friend. That's the biggest point. It's just a huge precedent because, one, if they say 60-40, what's going to stop the people, right, for them to stay competitive and ask 60-40, and not just from the big developers, the small developers. And they're not just these quick, freaking shitty, mobile app games that, oh yeah, I can make this game for less than $1,000. I'll get maybe $4,000 because a lot of people are gonna be bored and play it, but then I gotta give to like 1.4K or maybe a little bit more or less to Apple, but I'll still get my 3,000. But when you go to the higher zeros and you're looking at your 100 to 200 employees that keep servers and server updates and all this stuff because you're a bigger freaking game. Again, I gotta say, bro, like I get what you're coming from. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and I see where you're coming from too with Robert Downey Jr. is Robert Downey Jr. made that deal. Robert Downey Jr. goes, listen, I get it. People come to see the Avengers movies because they want to see Chris Hemsworth, they want to see Chris Evans, they want to see Chris Pratt, they want to see Scarlett Johansson, they want to see Mark Ruffalo.
Which were there also in the Fortnite event, by the way.
Okay, but yeah. Okay, so I get it. And he went to Kevin Feige, said, listen, it's a team effort. We're the Avengers. We got the tattoos, the whole 9 yards. But I've been here since day one. And he is a businessman. He didn't pout, didn't walk off the movie. He didn't say, F you and go behind Feige's, the producer's back and go to the Russos and say, do this, do that, or go to the writers, do this, do this. No, he made a business decision with his agent and his lawyers and said, listen, I feel that I have carried this franchise for 10 plus years, meaning, I'm not carrying Thor, I'm not carrying Captain America, but Avengers, I've been at the forefront since day one. I've carried 3 movies, good, bad, or indifferent. I deserve back end. And he did. He got a back end on Infinity War and Endgame. And for those of you who don't understand what back end means, is that no matter what happens I take that back. He's going to get paid. Robert Downey Jr. is going to get paid his salary. But basically, he says, I want profit. So whatever Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame do, I want a percentage, whether it's 2%, 10%, 5%, whatever. He got a percentage of the ticket gross, meaning that before bills were paid, he got paid back in on, and he'll get paid for years. He'll get paid on VOD, on digital, Blu-ray, Netflix subscriptions, whatever. He's going to get back in on Infinity War and Endgame for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And
he negotiated a deal. The problem that I have with Epic Games and with a lot of the attitude in the gaming industry is it's just no different than the gamers themselves. And it started with Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was a rebel. He flew that rebel flag like anybody else. Him and Steve Wozniak are they are gods in the nerd industry. They kicked the system. They went toe to toe with IBM. They went toe to toe with Xerox. They went toe to toe with Microsoft, and kicked the door. And they built a successful business. And now they have boardrooms and investors to it. And they said, here's the deal. Here's our deal. Okay. 60-40. And it could be different. And it has changed. I think it's now, I think it's 70-30, and it may be 70-30 flip. Because it used to be 60-40 Apple. I believe it is now 70-30 developer. And that came right around the same time that Epic pulled this about a year ago. And what they did was they did take, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, they took a Steve Jobs move and said, fuck you. We're going to do it our way. And they got caught and they said, okay, here's your warning, fix your boo-boo. And Epic says, no, I'm not going to. And they kicked them off. And then they went, wait, what? You can't kick us off. And now they're suing.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why they were swinging back is because, one, a lot of Fortnite and Epic Games stuff still on the Apple Store, and they're using them as free advertisement, right?
They are what's considered to be and I was going back because you're talking about like who plays Fortnite on mobile devices, and a lot of people don't, but a lot of people do. It is considered to be I'll use this term loosely, it's a gateway drug.
Yeah.
More people have been introduced to the game Fortnite via a mobile device, not just an iPhone, but an Android and stuff like that. I'm the first one. I had no idea what PUBG, PUBG and Fortnite was. I saw a commercial, or actually I saw a YouTube video of someone playing PUBG, and I was like, and they were sniping, and I'm like, well, this is what I loved about Call of Duty. And I got introduced. I went looked for the game, found it on an iPhone, played it. Freaking hated Fortnite. I thought it was fucking stupid. Played PUBG and it was too difficult because I'm not a gamer anymore, and so I deleted the games.
Yeah.
But to your point, no one plays them, but they're introduced to the game
they're
on the mobile devices.
And that's my point of contention here is that, like, just because introducing, sure, but again, it's for me again. I just gotta really hammer this point down. If this precedent is set 70-30, 60-40, all these numbers, because one, you're a quote unquote big publisher and you have the brand recognition name, and therefore we should get a bigger cut, right? It's gonna set that precedent overall, because it's gonna be that this is a thing that's been talked about, right? Developer publisher thing, and specifically inside the gaming space for years, for decades now. And the closest thing for it was Steam, where Steam took I think Steam was given a backlog of like 24-25%, and developer is 75%. And granted, that's probably seen as a good, a good plan per se. But again, because of the cost of development over video games, and this is a full-on different nerd ass topic, right? Cost of development going up, everything looking freaking brighter, and the trends coming along, and all this other shit. As a developer, as a developing company, mom and pop, being the entrepreneur, and I have anywhere between 50 to 75 employees working on one video game. The Steam the Steam deal is kind of, it's still like, okay, I gotta take it because one, it's Steam, big name. We will get our stuff down because it's PC, and PC is technically the biggest. It's still the biggest global base, right? And close to that is gonna be mobile because it's mobile, right? But then when you talk about, continual player counts and people playing video games on a consistent basis, it's Steam. As much as a as much as a Sony fan I am, it's Steam, and you gotta do that. But then when you try to then, adopt other revenues, right, and try to go elsewhere, 60-40, 70-30 from a different company, even when they're bigger, that's a hard take still. Because again, you're looking at other servers to then maintain your video game, other things, more resources to adopt to put this game elsewhere. It's hard, man. And I gotta go with the developers on this. Developers on this, no. And I'm glad it's Epic, because if Epic said yes, right? And that means that gives Google free reign for any small developer or any upcoming developer to go in to try and make money. And Google says, no, well, Epic Games is a bigger studio than you are. So no, it's 60-40. And
Yeah,
that's
and it
fair.
should be noted, I just looked up to, as of November of last year, Apple's share in developers is 30%, and it is 15%
Mm.
cut on quote small developers, and I think that's based on downloads
Mm.
and budget or something like that. There's a whole thing, but
Yeah.
that's according to CNBC.
Yeah.
That in November of 2020 was Apple currently takes a 30% commission for the total price of paid apps and in-app purchases for the App
all
Store.
that hate that was thrown their way.
But the problem is that there was a lot of people too. There were developers that said, Epic, thank you for doing this. But at the same time, there were people that said,
Yeah,
Epic, you shot yourself in the foot. Like they were almost like a martyr because they've got nothing and you like it.
They're fine. They're a billion-dollar company. They're fine.
And I honestly think, like I said, to go back to the original topic before we get to the Neil Gaiman story, is that I think that in this day of mergers, there's, you talk about how Stadia is on life support. You have Luna that just launched by Amazon. Matter of fact, if you're an Amazon Prime user, you probably got an invitation to do a limited subscription to Luna. I tried it, not a fan of it because you actually have to use their controller to be able to play 99% of the game. So at the end of this week, I'm going to be canceling Amazon Luna.
Yep.
Apple Arcade is still designed specifically to be
mobile. It's mobile.
Just the mobile games, but they're getting into it as they get more developers and stuff like that. But it should be noted before we move on real quick that there is still very much an interest in subscription-based video games, with now talks that Microsoft and Apple are going to work together finally, and that the Xbox Game Pass will come to iOS sometime this year, by the end of the year. So you will be able to play the Game Pass games on iOS, Mac, and whatnot. But also should be noted too that Netflix is putting together an exploratory committee to look into doing their own subscription-based tier of video games similar to their video streaming service. So we'll keep an eye on that. Tons to talk about for video games for another day. We'll have to get into it as we get closer to E3. I know there's a lot of big announcements. E3 is, of course, going to be virtual. What's it, in a couple of weeks, I think?
I think so, yeah. Big one coming out is Bethesda and Xbox are doing a co-conference because, Bethesda got bought by Xbox.
And it also should be noted, too, that Nintendo will be at E3. They're bringing their full slate of games, Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, and Pokemon. I know they don't technically own Pokemon. That's the Pokemon company, but they are the main developer for console-based video games from the Pokemon company, whereas Niantic is, of course, the mobile version. But it should be noted, too, real quick, before we move on to Neil Gaiman and Sandman, is it was formally announced today that late November of this year, we will get the new versions of Pokemon Pearl and Diamond for the Nintendo Switch, and the brand new Legend of Zelda level game, Pokemon, I think it's called Arceus, will be coming out in late January of 2022. So I'll be looking for that. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by the Legend of Zelda level, a Pokemon game, it is an open world game based in the ancient Sinnoh region of the Pokemon Islands, and it will basically take place hundreds of years prior to the stories of from the original games that you played on the Game Boy. So it should be really interesting. But it's a massive open world game. Check it out. Go over to Pokemon.com or Nintendo.com to find out more about it. But moving on along, because as JR gets his hat backwards, that means he's ready to talk about some shit. He is ready to talk about one of his man crushes. He's talking about something that lit up the internet today when it comes to pop culture, and that is DC's I think, what is it, Variant or Valiant Comics? Valiant Comics?
It's something.
But anyways, DC Comics, which through one of their subsidiaries has the
Vertigo.
Vertigo, I apologize. Vertigo Comics, which is a subsidiary of DC Comics, produces the Sandman series. There you go, right there, from the acclaimed, the great Neil Gaiman. And it is coming to Netflix of all things, not HBO Max, where a lot of people thought that it was going to, because, of course, DC is owned by Warner Brothers owns HBO Max, yada, yada, yada. The full cast was announced today. Of course, we shared that bit of casting news on our Facebook page, facebook.com/PS Comics. I love you. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to that page. Let me get you there. Now, it should be noted that there is one name that a lot of you are probably familiar with, and that is Patton Oswalt, crossing the great divide, and he is going from Marvel to DC to work on Sandman. I mean, who wouldn't? On this particular franchise, he is playing Patton Oswalt to voice Matthew the Raven. He is one of many all-star casts, actors cast for this movie. We'll start first with Kirby Howell Baptiste is Death. Mason Alexander Park is Desire. Donna Preston is Despair. Was it?
It's an interesting story. Oh, continue.
Razane Jamal is Lydia Hall. Lita Hall. Lita Hall. Jolie Richardson is playing Ethel Cripps. Naima Walsh is playing young Ethel Cripps. David Thewlis is playing John D. Kaio Ra is playing Rose Walker. Patton Oswalt playing Matthew the Raven. Stephen Fry is playing Gilbert. Jenna Coleman, of course, of Doctor Who and Captain America fame, will be playing Johanna Constantine. And Sandra James Young is playing Unity Kincaid. Now, real quick, one of the names that jumps out at me there, of course, is you hear Constantine. Constantine, of course, was a John Constantine. It's a major character in the DC universe. What's
that
kind of like the
that Constantine? I'm not going to say anything.
Constantine, is that related, or
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, so we're going to have to wait and see. Of course, John Constantine was played in the movies by your man crush Wednesday, Keanu, but of course was American probably played extensively in the CW in the
Constantine.
But in they had a show on in their version, of course, which has been seen in Lucifer. It was seen in Crisis on Infinite Earth. I like John Constantine. It's so funny to the point where when my wife watched what's that show that just got canceled or just ended with the two brothers?
Oh yes, Supernatural.
My
favorite. One of my favorite shows.
There's a character in there. I think is it no? Who's the guys in the trench coat?
Oh yeah, it's Castiel.
I always thought, because he looks exactly like John Constantine and dresses the same, got the trench coat, the loose tie, and the actor looked similar. To the point I was like, is that Constantine? And he goes, no, it's Castiel. And I'm like,
Castiel.
And he's an angel or a demon? I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, tell me, bro, why is the world losing their shit over the Sandman?
Oh, so here's the thing. The Sandman series, right? It first came into run in the, I think, the late or early 80s, right? It is one of the best runs, right, of comic books, right, in the modern-esque era. And Neil Gaiman penning this freaking book as well as the art, which I'm trying to find it right now, done by Mike Dringenberg. Actually, a bunch of people too. Actually, have been coloring all that stuff. It's just definitely one of the pieces of literature that's like that's still in that same category of you Watchmen. That's in the same category of Dark Knight, right? Dark Knight Returns, and as it should be, as it definitely should be. And so when we have such a very, very epitomous writer as Neil Gaiman, yes, my man crush, my freaking like idol when it comes to writing. Yeah, he is very particular about how he wants his works to be made. Granted, yes, he has a lot of like there has been some horrible adaptations. I think of Stardust. I think did he do Aragorn? No, he didn't do Aragorn. Someone else. I think of Stardust. I think of some other ones I'm not gonna say out loud, but there has been some really good ones that he has done. Specifically, Good and Evil. That is Good and Evil, or I forgot the actual name. No. I think that is actually from a different author. Never mind. I apologize. No, that is from the same author. Yeah.
But
And so,
this is the book that single-handedly pretty much kept Vertigo open.
yeah, Vertigo, absolutely. And so it was definitely in that sphere. Now, I've been looking forward to this adaptation for a very,
Oh yeah,
very long time.
you,
Right?
Q, and Chick have been looking forward to this one for a while.
My very first emo girlfriend, Death. Yes, Death, and the Endless series, or specifically, it's gonna be about Dream. Dream is the amorphous human characterization of just dreams in general, right? And if you dream, you're in his world, type of thing. And so it features Dream, and he goes off throughout the entirety of the multiverse that is DC or Vertigo. And I'm not gonna get into that because there's a lot to get into. But if you read the novels, if you read these freaking books, and these are dark, dark, dark books, which I'm hoping they don't shy away from. They're incredibly dark, and that's the reason why Vertigo was made, so that DC, if you want to do darker shit, you go to Vertigo to do your darker shit. And yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. And looking at some of the castings now, interesting. I will say interesting. And the biggest depiction for me specifically is that, and this is gonna sound a little,
I know where you're going with it. I know because
little
where the
bit
rest of the
ignorant,
internet's going.
a little bit ignorant, but bear with me, right? Kirby Howell Baptiste is a tough sell for me. Tough sell. Uh, because like, granted, I needed to understand where they're taking my favorite female character of all time. She's very near and dear to my heart. And so
Yes.
for me as an avid fan of this, I need to understand where they're taking her. Granted, it's gonna sound very, chauvinistic,
It's
not
gonna sound
chauvinistic,
racist.
not racist of me, but I don't care that she's black. Personally, I don't care that she's black. Just for me, facial structure looking like that, and granted, of course, she's death. She's looked like whoever the hell she wants to be, right? The depiction of her that was always in my mind was very much an 80s emo chick. 80s emo chick. And her facial structure from Kirby Howell, I don't know. Like it's kind of, I can be one over, definitely. I could definitely be one over. But I was thinking more so of Jenna Coleman when in the same series. That
When
would
she's
like,
in the series, yeah.
yeah, she's in the series. I was thinking that maybe she would be actually a really good death, right? Or if you want to stick with very much black actors, right? I was thinking of Zazie Beetz. Zazie Beetz. She has a very distinct look too, but her lines, her specifically her jaw structure and lines going
No,
downwards,
that
very
looks like
much, very much reminds me of Death of the Endless, right? And I would be great with her, but again, Neil Gaiman is very particular about her castings, right? And he specifically wants just full on British cast or from the UK, right? That's always his deal. He wants UK cast, and that's how he was with Good and Evil. I'm pretty sure, yeah, Good and Evil, which is a show on Amazon, which fucking awesome show. And some of these other picks though are interesting. I like Desire because Desire is supposed to be this very androgynous character where the second you look at it, they them specifically, right? And I gotta definitely give freaking Gaiman some props because this was ahead of its time where like androgyny, right? Androgynous character, you don't know what Desire is supposed to look like. All you know is that you desire it. That's it, right? Despair is gonna be interesting to look at because Despair is supposed to be this a very obesely grotesque, overweight character that's always nude, woman that's always nude. That's gonna be interesting to see. I've yet to see Delirium in here. And going back to the main cast, because I'm pretty sure it's not on here. The guy, there is another actor, Tom Sturridge, who's gonna be playing Dream. I gotta get time warming up on the. And one of the biggest things for me is who they casted for Lucifer. It's gonna be Gwendolyn Christie. Interesting choice. If you don't know who Gwendolyn Christie is, she was in Game of Thrones. She was the tall knight.
She's the
She's
stormtrooper. She's
Captain Phasma. Captain Phasma, right?
She's playing Lucifer.
They fucked her in that role. I gotta say that.
Oh, absolutely. She got screwed as Captain Phasma.
She deserved way fucking better.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to this point, she's playing Lucifer. Now, granted, again, it's an interesting character to know because one, the original here's the thing, right? The original interpretation, right, for what Neil Gaiman wanted, right, for Lucifer was David Bowie back in the 80s. And David Bowie was probably the hottest fucking sex idol of all time.
Oh, absolutely.
Of that age, right? In the 80s. And so when you see Lucifer in Neil Gaiman in this freaking book, right, he's seen as, he's fucking hella gorgeous. Hella fucking gorgeous. That's what I liked
about the Lucifer in the CW is he's a playboy. He is almost too hot. I mean, and he plays that line like guys want to be him, girls want to be with him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure guys want to be with him too. In that, like,
he's hot. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm just saying, right?
To watch the show.
My biggest point of contention of that show, even though the actor is amazing, I wanted to see my long-haired, blonde-haired Lucifer, right? That's all I wanted to see. And granted, what they're doing Gwendolyn, right? I gotta see more of it. Now, again, I'm not gonna say I might hate this outright because it's not my choices. I'm gonna try to see. All right, it's Neil Gaiman. He's definitely got his finger on this. He definitely wants to do this right. But then it's Netflix, and they're kind of fucking up because the things I'm hearing with Avatar is like really okay. Then, but again, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. They've had some good hits in the last couple of years. They've struck gold with even though it's Castlevania, they struck gold with that. They struck gold with Stranger Things. They've done really well with other adaptations. Now, I just got to see what they're doing with this because Gwendolyn Christie is going to be a hard sell for me because of like, I don't know. I just don't see her as Lucifer.
It's gonna be a tough sell because even though she played a bad guy, so to speak, in Star Wars, she's a lovable character from the Game of Thrones, but that's why they call it acting. So
like if I just need to see her in a white cloak with black wings and just her hair drenched in a fiery montage behind her. I gotta look at that photo. I gotta look at that photo and I'm like, all right, I'm in. I just gotta see that photo. That's it. Because like I love Gwendolyn Christie, man, and I want her to continue to be freaking awesome. But Lucifer, like she like specifically the way that Neil Gaiman envisioned Lucifer, right? Or I forget the artist specifically for that issue because it was a very different drawn issue. It was a very fucking beautiful issue, by the way. Yep. And I wonder if like I can find it here. I'll go ahead and continue to talk if you want to. I'm just trying to find it. I'm trying to find the issue.
Well, while JR tries to find that, we will wrap things up with a flex pull, and he can use his
found it.
He can find his information on Sandman. And by the way,
found it.
Okay, I can kind of see that I can kind of see the top left-hand corner or top right-hand corner. I can almost see Gwendolyn Christie a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Again, it's a wait and see makeup, see costume and stuff like that, and we'll see what they pull off. So
yeah, it's hard to pass up David Bowie, but like if David Bowie wasn't one pedophilic douchebag and younger, pedophilic douchebag and younger, yeah, like he definitely would be casted as the role. But like right now, Gwendolyn Christie, okay, but granted, yes. Yeah, this Lucifer is supposed to be a hella freaking tall anyway. So I'm thinking that's the reason why they casted her. And like, I'm just cool. I just want to see how it is. But
Well,
I'm super fucking excited for this freaking show.
And JR, I knew as soon as that story came out today, I knew that JR was going to be stoked about it. And again, Sandman, no release date, but it will be on Netflix, not HBO Max. Real quick, too, by the way, as we record this on Wednesday night, we are less than a few hours away from the Friends reunion on HBO Max. That's going to be the big kind of release for May. And we inch ever so closer to the Suicide Squad, which I believe is either going to be a July or August release for HBO Max. So, well, this is by popular demand. We're bringing it back. We haven't done it in a while because people have been, it's pop culture podcast. We've been talking about a lot about comic books and stuff like that, but we haven't been talking about actual comic books for a while. We did an episode or two ago, but we're bringing back the Flex Pool. And for those of you who don't know what the Flex Pool is, if you're new to the show, what we do is we try to do at the end of each show is bust out the good shit that we got from our local comic book store or mail call. So it's kind of like a hashtag mail call, hashtag Flex Pool. And this is a chance for us to show off our shit. Real quick, want to give a shout out to Desert Oasis Comics. As always, Sid coming through on, there you go. That, you know what? Okay. I see David Bowie there, but again, makeup and costume, I can see Gwendolyn Christie pull that off.
I'm actually gonna show a fan drawn portrait of this same photo, but with Gwendolyn Christie. And so go and continue the thing.
Anyway, so leave it to Sid to get me some back issues. Here's a David Chu cover, Vampirella versus Purgatory from issue 3 from Dynamite Comics. I love David's work. He could do no wrong. Obviously, Vampirella is a character you can draw her in freaking sweatpants and a t-shirt. She's still gonna look sexy as hell. So everyone's like, of course you like Vampirella. She's a whore. But it's like, no, it's just good.
It cut off. Yeah.
I don't know this cover artist, but it had a very J. Scott Campbell flavor to it. This is Maria Levette's Eros and Psyche. There's that is issue number 3. I'm getting my back issues from Chick, hopefully next month. But Maria Levette, I love her work. If you're not familiar with her, she does Faithless, Heartbeat, and now she's working on Eros and Psyche. And of course, grab this. It was a back issue. I was missing issue number 4 of Marvel's run of Star Wars, The High Republic. Got this from Sid. Thank you. That is a cool cut. Yeah, there you go. I can kind of see it. Yeah. So it'll be interesting because, like I said, she's such a fan favorite character. And by the way, I think she's gorgeous. We'll see what she does.
Yeah, I hope this role as Lucifer, when they really give it to her, and I hope that she's more than just a couple episodes. If she's in it for the long haul, dude, I hope she fucking kills it and just the big fuck you to Rian Johnson and everyone that fucked her over at Star Wars. Really, I honestly hope so because she's such a fucking underrated artist.
She's a
phenomenal fucking actress, man. It sucks that it's just recent. Oh, fucking awesome cover, by the way. Yeah,
Peach Momoko killing it once again.
Yeah, it just sucks that she's given the shaft from Star Wars.
Some Runaways, Champions book. By the way, Captain America, the Tanahashi Coates run, absolutely killer. I think that Coates should probably win an Eisner for that.
Yes, he should, but then they're not gonna give it to him because they've been fucking dicks about it.
By the way, mad props to Tanahashi Coates.
Yeah.
His run is coming to an end. I think did it come to an end this week?
Yeah, it just ended. I'm actually gonna show the last one.
So JR will have cover A of Black Panther number 25.
Cover
35.
C, I think. I'm not cover C.
Anyways, I may have some Black Panthers, but much praise to the legendary Tanahashi Coates, who was finally ending his run with Black Panther. Another Maria Levette book, Luna. Again, her artwork is phenomenal. I don't think this is her cover, but if you get into the inside the book, and it's a little not safe for work, so we're not going to show it here. Some more Peach Momoko, Valkyries, the Mighty Valkyries. Again, I love her style. Jenny Frison can do no wrong. I mean, just the her and Jen Bartel, which we'll talk about in a second. They do such a great job at being women and getting women and understanding how to draw them, and love it.
Gleason cover for the Black Panther, final issue Black Panther. And I think this is a cover C.
Yes, I have those two. Those are in my pull, so I'll get to them as well. But
Gleason cover is amazing.
What I love about Jenny Frison is she can sex it up like nobody's business, but not be overtly sexy. She just gets it. That's the best way to describe it.
It's great. It's great to have a woman artist do proper woman painting. So yeah, it's great to do that.
I'm really, really falling in love with Wonder Girl. I love the power. I mean, this right here, this picture right here sums up this character right here. Just
they already. I know I forgot to add those notes, but she's gonna be in the CW show.
Sweet. Oh yeah, I did hear that. Yeah. Love this cover. This is the grandpa variant. Cool variant. And if I'm not mistaken, this I believe is this Jen Bartel? Is she doing cover? Is she huh?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's Jen, and I love her work.
Yeah, man.
Right. By the way, you got Black Lightning here on the back. It was just announced today that their spinoff show was canceled.
What?
Yeah, they canceled the spinoff show.
That was in production for like 2 years. What the hell?
No, not Black Lightning staying on the spinoff of Black Lightning.
Yeah, the daughters.
No, it's a different show. It hadn't aired yet.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Okay. Why is it not showing? I'm like 16 pages in and there's still no. Yeah. Or maybe DC's in the back, isn't it?
Hello, bedroom. Holy crap.
Oh, you know who it is? It's
Who?
No, never mind.
Yeah, I gotta get black screen. There you go. Look at that.
Cover is it's Jolie Jones.
Oh, Jolie Jones.
That's who it is. It's Jolie Jones. Duh.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, another artist who Woman Crush Wednesday on.
I hope to meet her at the feature convention soon, man.
Who's that?
I literally missed her last year, dude. Or no, 2 years ago with Comic-Con. Red Room Red Room, Peach Momoko. Awesome. I got that one too. I got Strong Arms.
Strong Arms. I got Strong Arms.
You didn't get Strong Arm. You said, hey, you get this. Like, oh yeah, it's Campbell. Hell yeah. I know them roles.
Seriously, if I could snap my finger and they could create a Campbell drawing in real life, no man would ever leave home. I know that sounded dirty, but it is what it is. Black Cat. I think they've done a great job on the cover. I haven't read the books yet. I'm so far behind on my reading, but the cover work, they've done a great job since Campbell left. Star Wars High Republic #5.
This is a new mess. This is a new mess, guys. I fixed my mess and then I remade my mess because I'm trying to still categorize my huge ass freaking long boxes. I have like 6.
Yeah, I got to do that too.
Long boxes, bro. It's
should be noted as we talk about High Republic. Bit of bad news, though. We kind of saw it coming with your girl Cara Dune. With what's her name?
With Gina Carano.
Gina Carano being fired by Lucasfilm and Disney.
Pissed me off.
That they have officially pulled the plug on the not the Knights of the Old Republic, but
it's
Rangers of the New Republic. So that is a
that's more freaking people that are out now that I wish to see, because I thought like 3 or 4 possible characters that could be in that show.
Maybe they'll get it. Who knows? They got so much they could do. They could possibly bring the show, but they said it's officially canceled. But they also talking about that they may do a High Republic show, which means they're going to go back thousands of years and talk about that and like the creation of the Jedi and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, we do still get Rogue One in theaters, so maybe they'll address that. But love the run that they did here of Red Sonja. I thought this was kind of a cool cover. It says "Stop staring at my ass, peasant."
Which one?
That one.
Let me see. Is that Frank Cho? That is Frank Cho.
Stop
I get that cover.
Ass,
I don't remember.
And then I got this one.
Oh yeah, that's cover too.
And then,
was that from this week?
No, that's from a couple weeks ago. And then I got the the Cohen 1 in 10, number 1. Made a little deal with old Chicky. So I got that Cohen number 1. Then I got the Selena 1 in 25 black and white Virgin variant. And then last but certainly not least, this goes way back, missing from my collection, a 1 in 40 Virgin variant of J. Scott Campbell's Red Sonja.
I got like 3 of those, all from Javel.
Hey, dude, I
got 3 of those, man, all from Javel.
I have never seen a book, and this is coming from someone who has seen JR's, and this is going to sound wrong, JR's Sisters 10.0. That is a CGC 10.0 of what was it? Sandman? No. Heathen. She has a perfect 10.
Which I bought.
And Javel has a book that's not slabbed. I have not seen a book in better condition, and it's a Young Avengers number 7. I think it was not first appearance of Wiccan, but I can't another character, but it's in. Oh my gosh, JR, it's an immaculate, just tight spine, no boxed corners, perfect lines, no creases, no smudges. The cover's in amazing condition. It is expected to possibly hit the sales floor this weekend. Probably going to fetch 3 digits. So be on the lookout for that one. It's Young Avengers number 7.
Agents of Atlas. That's going to possibly be a show sometime down the line.
Oh, absolutely. I got a little haul from our good friends at Midtown. Got Wonder Woman number 750. This is the Jenny Frison 50s cover. I did not have this cover because I didn't know much about Jenny at the time. Now I'm a big homer. This is also from her Wonder Woman run. This is issue number 9, cover B, the Frison cover. Invincible, killing it right now. Invincible.
This is a first image right here from the shop. I've been meaning to get number 1, dude, when it was still like $1,000 for a 9.8. Now it's like $3,000, and I'm kicking myself in the ass.
Let's see here. More Jenny Frison. This is Wonder Woman number 60.
Oh my guys.
This one I got, and shout out to Midtown. I got duplicates. This is a Red Sonja Age of Chaos number 1, a cover L incentive Derek Chu sneak peek Virgin variant. Okay.
Oh, nice.
I paid for 1 and got 2.
Oh,
Thank you, Midtown Comics.
So you're saying that they did that? They accidentally put 2.
Hey, I'll shout you out. Midtown Comics, Midtown Comics, Midtown Comics.
Hey man,
Jenny Frison, Phoenix, Resurrection. Can't hear you.
Anybody want to? Oh, that's good one too. I got that one. Yeah, anybody want off you, bro? Come on, man.
$3,000. I love this one. The connecting cover, Fearless. Jenny Frison cover.
Yeah.
Her work on Catwoman. This is Catwoman number 27. More Catwoman from Jenny Frison.
Yeah, I have.
And then our boy,
that.
Ryan Kincaid.
Yeah.
Dead End Kid, Suburban Job number 1 and number 2. The
Great
Kincaid variants.
Series.
So got that. So I'm caught up on that with Ryan Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
I did get the Jen Bartel naughty cover.
Bro, can we talk about our boy Rick Kincaid real quick?
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure it's Kincaid actually. I'm pretty sure it's Ryan, but yeah, that Money Shot cover. It was either Kincaid or somebody else, right? That did number 1, and I gotta say.
It's not Kincaid. I know who it is, but they were talking about it. It sold quick at the store today.
No, it's number one. Yeah, so that's the number 11, right? And so number 1 came out a while ago. And
okay.
I gotta find it real quick. Give me a second. 1 second.
Can you show it?
No. No.
So we'll wait till we hit stop record.
Yeah.
How about this one? Gotta love some green in here. But freaking, I love Harley Quinn. Derek Chu kills it with Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Which by the way, I cannot wait for Harley Quinn to return back to HBO Max.
Yeah.
Got more Eros Psych from my friend Maria Levette. Got this, a cover swipe for the movie poster for Pulp Fiction. I have special order coming soon. Number 1 is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone cover swipe for Eros number 1, and then they did a cover swipe for I think like issue number 3 was the Breakfast Club. Demon Days X-Men number 1. This is what the 3rd printing.
Okay, so I found it. It's not from our boy Kincaid, but it's from our other boy, Adolfo. I think Adolfo was his friend too, actually. Kincaid's friend.
Oh,
Mirko Adolfo. I can't even show it, bro.
No, we'll wait. We can't.
Wow.
David Mack.
I forgot to get that at the store, man.
There's a few left.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably use it
He is
next day.
David Mack. If you gave me an option,
killing it.
If you gave me an option, $1,000, I can get a commission, one of one. $1,000, one of one commission from Stanley Lau, from J. Scott Campbell, or from David Mack. I would absolutely take David Mack.
Mack all day. As much as I love Archerm or Campbell, man, all day, bro. All day, bro. Like I want a full-on painting from him.
Oh hell yeah!
I want a full-on painting, and it's just paintings. Yes. If I pay $1,000, let's say I want to, because I think the normal originals from him are like 560, 580, right?
I want to get another one of these.
Yeah,
I need to get another one of these.
Sorry, bro. I took the last one.
I should have got another one because this one remarked. Badass. And like JR said before, the fine art variant from Peach Momoko is phenomenal. This could be one of her best jobs.
Oh yeah.
That Gleason one's pretty good.
Gleason's amazing.
And then of course, the great Eastman and Laird returning for Last Ronin. This is issue number 3. This is the one book I'm regretting not reading right now. So.
I mean, like it's good, man. It's good. I'm still on and off with that one too, though, because like of all the other freaking stuff that's going on, and the other things I'm trying to catch up on and read. But yeah, I think next month is definitely gonna be my catch month for everything, right? And again, guys, this is technically the last podcast of this month, man. So again, thank you guys very much for rocking with us, man. We're hopefully next month we'll do a lot more comic oriented stuff, right? We are technically still a comic podcast, but like we're gonna definitely show some stuff.
Yeah. So by the way, again, we will have another episode for you this weekend. Obviously, as we record this on Wednesday, hopefully we'll have it edited down and ready to be posted for Thursday consumption, and then we'll have another episode for you next week on a regular time, and we've got some stuff to talk about. But as we inch ever so closer to Loki being launched, we did tell you that we are going to do that. I think as we test this, doing on a Wednesday, I think this will work fine to do a quick 1-hour show on a Wednesday. Is okay with our schedule. And so we have Loki coming out, and I think that once we're done with Loki, and I think as we get towards the end of July, we're going to take a small break, and we will end season 1 of PS Comics I Love You, and then we'll come back in like early August as we get closer toward. Get this, JR. Get this.
Yeah. What's up?
We're heading towards con season.
Oh God, yes. And I'm gonna definitely say I'm definitely going to that Rose City Comic Con one, my guys, and so my peeps, and so like I think I'm hoping to possibly we'll do the same Zoom call or what. Hopefully by this time we'll probably maybe go on Discord. Maybe that'd be better. Who knows?
We'll come up with some stuff. Which, by the way, leave us in the comments below what you guys want to do. We have I have some guests lined up. I know that JR, his schedule doesn't always allow for quick access, so Let us know how you want to do. If you want us to do interviews, if you don't want us to do interviews, if so, give us some ideas. And also let us know, do you want us to include it in the main podcast? Do you want us to do it as bonus episodes? Let us know. We'll follow your guys' directions. I think right now I'm leaning towards recording them and dropping them as like its own separate entity, dropping them as just an interview. But we'll see, because like I said, with JR's schedule and my schedule, it doesn't always line up perfectly with our guests and whatnot. So, but that is something we're looking to do, is to do some interviews with some of these creators, whether it be comic book creators, movie creators, TV creators, cosplayers, whatever it may be. So be on the lookout for that. Let us know in the comments below how you want us to handle that. Again, don't forget, you can, if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Click subscribe, ring that little bell for future notifications. Leave us a comment and a review, and share the page too. Let us know. Let your friends know that you found PS Comics I Love You on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, but you want to take us on the go, you can, and you don't want to subscribe to YouTube Premium, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Now, I will say this: Amazon Music's taking a little bit longer to upload, but they are playing catch up. I think all of our episodes are now available on Amazon Music. And they usually, if we post on a Monday, I think Amazon will usually, it takes a couple of days for it to load. I do know that this last episode that we did over a week ago took almost a week to post, but that's just maybe Amazon's servers or something like that. But and like I said, if you're listening to us on the audio podcast, head over to YouTube, search out PS Comics I Love You or Voice of Reason 23 to subscribe to that YouTube channel. The link is also in the description below if you're listening to us on the on the app. Yes, sir.
Hey, Kev.
Front row.
No, there's this ongoing joke between him and I. We're like, just he edits the videos right now, but then hopefully that will change in possibly the next month or so. Your boy's trying to get a upgraded Mac right now, or upgraded PC, and he said he could always point out at a point in time where I just randomly just flex. I'm like, I don't remember that. It's something for anybody has inside joke.
So
yeah,
he is the ultimate flex pull. JR Cabacungan, the Dark King, also not JR Comics 42. Fire sale coming to you very, very soon. Just listen for that little eBay bell ring notification, and you know that JR's got something cooking on the old eBay. And I am watching. I don't know what I'm watching more closer. My stock portfolio or my comic portfolio, because bro, today alone I updated my comic books 3 times. Amazing Spider-Man number 129 went up, so we will see what happens tomorrow. Again, he is also not Jared Comics 42 on Instagram. I am Kevin Pillow at Voice of Reason 23, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and any other social media platforms that you care about. And again, don't forget PS Comics I Love You. The links are in the description below, and please feel free to subscribe, because we have got some cool swag to give away here very, very soon. All right, guys, have a great week. We will see you soon. As always, be good. Wear your damn mask at least for the next couple of weeks. And as always, peace.
Hey guys. Oh man.